6th of July. Perhaps I can now write for a few uninterrupted hours about the essentials. Wilk wrote somewhere to his paralyzed friend Ewald of days in which the minutes passed like years. That is how yesterday felt to us. When we said goodbye, I leaned against him and said, "I want to stay with you as long as I possibly can." And his mouth looked so soft and defenseless and sad, and he said almost dreamily, "Yes, which one of us does not have his wishes?" And I wondered, must we say goodbye to these wishes as well? When one begins to accept, must one not try to accept everything? He leaned against the wall of Dickie's room, and I leaned gently and lightly against him, just as I had done on countless similar occasions in the past. But this time it suddenly felt as if the sky had fallen, as in a Greek tragedy. For a moment my senses were totally confused, and I felt as though I was standing with him in the center of infinite space, pervaded by threats, but also filled with eternity. In that moment, a great change took place within us forever. He remained leaning against the wall for a little, and said in an almost plaintive voice, "I must write to my girlfriend tonight. It will be her birthday soon. But what am I to say to her? I haven't the heart for it, or the inspiration." And I said to him, "You must start, even now, and try to reconcile her to the fact that she will never see you again. You must give her something to hold on to for the future. Tell her how the two of you, though physically apart for all these years, have nevertheless been as one, and that she has a duty to carry on, if only to keep something of your spirit alive." Yes, that's how people talk to each other these days, and it doesn't even sound unreal anymore. We have embraced a new reality, and everything has taken on new colors and new emphases. And between our eyes and hands and mouths, there now flows a constant stream of tenderness, a stream in which all petty desires seem to have been extinguished. All that matters now is to be kind to each other with all the goodness that is in us, and every encounter is also a farewell. This morning he rang me up and said almost dreamily, "It was so beautiful yesterday, and we must be together as much as possible." In the afternoon, when the two of us, spoiled bachelors that we still are, sat over a copious lunch at his small round table, a lunch in which the world outside ceased to matter, and I said that I didn't want to leave him, he suddenly became stern and solemn and said, "Don't forget what you always preach. Never forget it." And I did not even have the old feeling that I was a little girl acting in a role in a play far beyond my understanding, but felt instead that my very life and fate were at stake, and I could accept that, with all the threats, the uncertainties, the faith, and the love, for it seemed to fit me like some garment specially made to measure. I love him with all the unselfishness I am capable of, and I shall not burden him even the smallest weight of my fears and demands. I shall even relinquish the wish to stay with him to the last moment. My whole being has become one great prayer for him. And why only for him? Why not for all the others as well? Girls of 16 are being sent to the labor camps as well. We elder ones shall have to take them under our wing when it is the turn of us Dutch girls. Last night, I suddenly felt like saying to Han, "Do you know that 16-year-old girls are being picked up as well?" And I kept it back and thought to myself, why add to his already heavy burden? Everyone surely knows what is going on, but we must be kind to others, and not always saddle them with what we can perfectly well carry alone. A few days ago, I still thought to myself, the worst thing for me will be when I am no longer allowed pencil and paper to clarify my thoughts. They are absolutely indispensable to me, for without them I shall fall apart and be utterly destroyed. But now I know that once you begin to lower your demands and your expectations, you can let go of everything. It took me just a few days to learn that. Perhaps I shall be able to stay on here for another month, but by that time any loophole in the regulations will surely have been closed. Every day I shall put my papers in order, and every day I shall say farewell. And the real farewell, when it comes, will only be a small outward confirmation of what has been accomplished within me from day to day. I feel so strange. Am I really sitting here writing things down so calmly? Would anybody understand me if I told them that I feel so strangely happy? Not bursting with it, but just plain happy, because I can sense a new gentleness and a new confidence growing stronger inside me from day to day. That all the confusing and threatening and dreadful things that assail me do not drive me out of my mind for even one moment, because I go on seeing and experiencing life in such plain and clear outlines, because there is nothing that obscures my thinking and feeling, because I can bear everything and cope with everything, and the realization that all the good in life, my own included, has not been superseded by everything else, but keeps growing stronger in me. I hardly dare write on. I don't know how to put it. It is as if I had gone almost too far in my dissociation from all that drives most people out of their minds. If I knew for certain that I should die next week, I would still be able to sit at my desk all week and study with perfect equanimity, for I know now that life and death make a meaningful whole. Death is a gentle slipping away, even when gloom and abominations are its trappings. We still have to go through with a great deal. We shall become poor, then destitute, until in the end our strength will go, not only because of all the fears and uncertainties, but also very simply because we are banned from more and more shops, and therefore have to cover longer distances on foot, which is already undermining the health of many people I know. From all sides, our destruction creeps up on us, and soon the ring will be closed, and no one at all will be able to come to our aid. And all the little loopholes that are still left will soon be stopped up. Life is so strange. It is cold and wet just now, as if you had suddenly been thrown from the peaks of a sultry summer night down a steep drop into a dark and chilly valley. Last time I spent a night with Han, it was also on the razor edge of heat and cold. Yesterday, when we talked before an open window about the latest developments, and I looked into his tortured face, I had the feeling. Tonight we shall lie in each other's arms and sob. We did indeed lie in each other's arms, but we did not sob. Only when his body lay above mine, in our final ecstasy, did a flood tide of despair, of elemental human sorrow, rise up from deep within me and submerge me, and there was so much pity for myself and for everyone else, and after that a feeling that everything had to be just as it was. But in the dark, I was able to bury my head between his naked shoulders and weep my tears in secret. And then I suddenly thought of Mrs. Witkowski's cake in the afternoon, and how it was covered with strawberries, and I couldn't help grinning and giving way to a feeling of radiant good humor. And now I must see to lunch, and at 2:00 I'm going over to see S. I should add that my stomach is upset, but I've decided not to dwell on my health any longer. It takes up too much paper, and I'll cope with it somehow. In the past, I used to write a great deal about it because I couldn't manage it properly, but now I've got the better of it. At least, that's what I think. Am I being frivolous and reckless? I really can't tell.